In this video, we've got a $25,000 grant opportunity that federal, state, and local governments are dispersing in as little as 5 days. We've got grant opportunities for remote workers who are willing to relocate, others for student, grant opportunities for nonprofits, veterans, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have grants for everyone. And I've listed the links to the information resources and application portals to these grants in our spreadsheet, where I list information resources for businesses, nonprofits, for cryptocurrency, individuals, free education resources, which are all grants because you can learn to be any type of professional practically in the information resources that I've entered on this tab labeled free education, which is probably the most powerful tab in the spreadsheet. Let's get to it. As I told you, first off, make my move. This is an opportunity for remote workers who are willing to relocate. These communities across the country, across the United States, I am now back, are offering anywhere from $6,600 to $7,500. The community of Stillwater, Oklahoma is offering $7,500 for people who are willing to relocate, who work from home, who work remotely. Practically everybody or many people, a bigger proportion of people throughout the pandemic now have the opportunity to work from home or work remotely, wherever you want. You want to be on a mountaintop, you want to work from there. Wherever you got an internet connection, you can work from there practically. And you could probably work remotely doing other things as well, as I've seen other opportunities. Look, a 2K tab at Aspen Coffee they give you on top of the $7,500. Well, the total incentive value is you get home ownership incentive. Applicants must be first-time buyers of a home in Stillwater. Home must be located within city limits. Home must be owner-occupied. You click the claim offer, and they give you the eligibility requirements and the way for you to apply for this opportunity. Look, medium home value, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, $184,000. Very cost-effective to live in these towns. So if you live in a big city, perhaps due to the pandemic, you've been working remotely and you don't have a need to be in the big city anymore, that may be something for you. And it's not only about Stillwater, Oklahoma. If you click the link labeled View More Offers, you see Rutherford County in Tennessee is also offering $10,000 student loan payments for people to come to get paid to live in Rutherford County, Tennessee. Stillwater, Bloomington, Indiana, Morganton, West Virginia. All these opportunities. Now, as I told you, the rental assistance, rental aid tab right here, rental assistance tab, I have listed links to information resources where you can go ahead and apply for rental assistance in your area. State, federal, and local governments are dispersing grants of up to $25,000 in as little as 5 days for rental assistance. Now, Neal, I'm a homeowner. Well, right here, we got a mortgage aid tab on the spreadsheet. Homeowner Assistance Fund through the Treasury. Help for homeowners through consumer finance. Let's go ahead and take a look at that link. Take a look right here. I got the whole thing. Will my local program send the rentals to me or my landlord? Look, this is where in some cases the program may contact you or your landlord or utility provider and ask them to accept emergency rental assistance to pay off what you owe. If they do not agree, if they do not respond within 7 days or within 5 days, if the program contacts your landlord by phone, text, or email, your local program may be able to give the money to you. Help for homeowners right here. All the resources I've listed on my spreadsheet where I have a comprehensive list of resources, as I told you, for people who require homeless support. I have all these links to HUD resources, justshelter.org. For students, take a look. I've got another resource right here. There is a current government grant program called HERF. I hope I pronounced it correctly. That's what it sounds like. Look, HERF. HERF, they're providing emergency grants to students. And to be eligible for an emergency grant funded by the HERF grant program, the ED does not require you to be eligible for financial aid. The education department file for the free application for federal student aid. Nonetheless, you still want to contact perhaps your bursar or your financial aid office so you can find out what it is that you need to do in order to apply for this emergency aid. And you had to be in school after March 13th, 2020, and take a look. So much funding has been provided to schools after the last disaster relief package that the federal government is encouraging you to go ahead and contact your school so they can cancel any debt that you have with that school. Your school can use their portion of HERE funding to discharge student debt directly owed to the school. Colleges and universities can discharge student debt or unpaid balances owed to the institution by discharging the complete balance of the debt as lost revenue and reimbursing themselves through their HERE institutional grants. So basically, if you have an outstanding debt with your college, with your university, you were in school, March 13, 2020, on or after, then you can go to your school's offices that deal with finances and ask them, listen, can you discharge my debt using the funds provided through the last disaster relief package? Now is the time to go ahead and do it. Now, elevate your future. Let's say I've told you dozens of times on this channel, I'll keep repeating it. If you do not have a multi-million-dollar contract with a Fortune 500 company where you're the CEO or a C-level executive, you need to start and operate a small business, which is simply you establishing the organized effort of selling something. You can sell anything you want, any used items you have in your home, perhaps this mesh cup that I keep right here. I've never shown it to you, or I keep all kinds of random things in it. You could get a few bucks for that on eBay or whatever. Anything that you have, that Bob Ross bobblehead doll that I showed you several times. Now, if you start and operate a small business, you got to remember, the majority of businesses in this country are small businesses. 31,678,432 to be exact. And out of those small businesses, a whopping 25,701,671 of those small businesses are what's known as non-employer firms. To the Small Business Administration, this is actually a formal classification. Non-employer firms, meaning that the business is operating by one person. You could start those right now. And look, you'll qualify for so much more assistance if you do so. It's the best asset that you can build in this country, unless you're climbing a corporate ladder. Elevate the Future. We'll build a website for you so you can market your business. Whether you're starting it right now, it does not have the qualifications that the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the Paycheck Protection Program required in order for you to qualify for this thing. Look, they'll build the website for you. And on top of that, I've showed you, look, there's a page that I've listed of the New York Small Business Development Center. Now, there's small business development centers all over the country, even if you're not in New York. And look, they have all these guides on where to apply for funding through grant programs, grants for which you don't have to pay back. And this is, look, grants.gov, that's a federal program. Across the country, you can go ahead and take a look what type of grant opportunities are available. Take a look. Now, I'm showing you this, even if you're not in New York. Senator Kirsten E. Gillibrand, she has a complete guide on how to seek funding for your small business. Every federal representative, state representative, local representative, they have to have information on how you can apply for funding, whether you are an individual, whether you operate a small business, whether you are a veteran. That is their job for them to do so. So just take a look, find your elected officials. Remember, if you go to the individuals tab, I've shown you how to go ahead and contact your elected officials. I've given you resources for that. This spreadsheet is so useful. You can find it at bit.ly/bizss21. You go to usa.gov right here, and you can find your elected officials anywhere. Look, state elected officials, local elected officials, your mayor by name, your city council, whoever, the leader of your local crime watch, the dude that works with McGruff. Look, and you can perform simple queries. Look, stimulus for college. You see all these programs. Connecticut College and University launches student support program. PA College to use stimulus money to erase unpaid student bills. If for some reason you don't find the resources that you need on the spreadsheet, perform Google queries for the stuff that you're looking. Remember, you have the world's knowledge the human knowledge available to you just through a couple of clicks, through a couple of queries. Look, grants for small business. Governor Pritzker announced a $250 million back to business grant. San Diego Mayor, Harris County. Just go ahead, add a couple of qualifiers. For instance, if you add California, or Texas rather, look, Texas, okay, these are just grants. USDA grants $67 million for heirs property lending program. Texas A&M award $10 million in grants. Harris County may launch $30 million relief fund to help small businesses survive pandemic. California capital infusion program grant. California grants portal. Victim impact grants. Equitable community revitalization grants. The NBA is requesting proposals for grants that they are providing to nonprofits. Look, this is what they support. Registered 501c3 tax organizations or T3010 if operating in Canada. Focus on promoting school to career employment opportunity to target Black youth ages 14 to 24 years old. For instance, I've told you about this in the past. You watched my previous videos. I volunteered for this organization, Black Girls Code. We help today's young engineers to become tomorrow computer scientists and technology professionals. We did a hackathon sponsored by Nike, and we had kids. I mean, most of the kids during the hackathon were as young as 14, 15, 16 years old, and we had them develop an application or a proposal for an application where Nike-sponsored athletes would amplify the stories of racial inequalities. So they could use their platforms to go ahead and communicate these stories of racial inequality so we can take the next steps towards stopping that racial inequality, racial profiling, anything that people are encountering. Now, if you have an organization, nonprofit, or you want to start a nonprofit, again, you incorporate, you find all the rules to do so. I even have resources for that on the spreadsheet where you want to contribute towards the community, then you will have more sources of funding. Now, all these nonprofits, they have to have people that they hire. You as a CEO, you got to collect a salary for that, right? And you find the rules, how it is that you pay yourself as a CEO or operating that nonprofit. Take a look, rental assistance grant. This is a program through Maryland. Now, Maryland, what they're doing is that they're giving out $30,000 for businesses to pay their rent for 1 year. For qualified small business, 50 or fewer employees, applicants' monthly rent cannot exceed $2,500. Maximum that we pay by the rental assistance grants will be $2,500 per month for 1 year. Okay? Now, look for rental assistance grants for your business in your state. Go ahead and perform queries. Contact 211-311 if it's available in your state. New York, it's available. Now, take a look at this. I've gone ahead and included a link to the New York Foundation for the Arts. And they have aggregated all these links to all these funding opportunities for artists, for people who work to help in the arts, for technology professionals in the arts. If you support an art foundation or an organization, right here, look. And this is not only for New York. Look, you can go to, look, all right, so Chinatown Artist Community Relief Fund. But if you take a look down here, look, Austin, Texas. Austin Creative Alliance Artist Emergency Fund. Austin, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Boston Singers Relief Fund if you're a singer, Western Massachusetts Bridge Song Fund, Charlottesville, Virginia, Charlottesville Emergency Relief for artists. Look, all these right here, and I've listed it right on the spreadsheet on the individuals tab. Just go ahead and take a look. The New York Foundation for the Arts link that I have entered online. Where did I enter it? NYFA. I guess I did. I guess I did not enter it. I may have entered it in here because you qualify as a small business if you're making money typically as an artist. So, and I haven't included, but I'll go ahead and include it shortly as soon as I finish vlogging this video so we don't eat up on your time. These are some of the programs that you have available. Look, apply for a basic needs grant behind the scenes. You don't have to be an artist. Now, Publix is giving nonprofits that are doing great things for your community in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, or Virginia to provide funding for organizations that are helping the community, right? Now, take a look, $10,000 equity grant right here. They got the gala luncheon over here. Where are we going? Right here. Equity match, $10,000 to Women Business Development Council. This is in Connecticut. Now, if you're not in Connecticut, I've got a program, another program for business, for women-owned businesses. Apply today for a $25,000 Amber grant for women They disperse $25,000 grants as low as $10,000, up to at least $10,000. I believe it's every month. Every month. Yeah, you've got August 2021. Your application cutoff is in 20 days. You got to move on these things quickly. A number of these have deadlines, but some of them they just keep. Once a deadline lapses, then they just launch the program again. Again, this is the NEA. This is a federal program for organizations that help arts and culture, the culture sector, recover from the pandemic. Right here. Look, they got a deadline of tomorrow. So if you have an organization that contributes toward the arts, go ahead and take a look at arts.gov. I've listed that tab, this link over on the nonprofits tab. Let's go back to the women. Look, GoFundMe. This is a program that a number of our viewers have been able to benefit from. They've gone ahead and raised $500 from 5 different people, and GoFundMe has gone ahead and matched that $500. There are organizations that have raised over $60,000 through this thing. So there's no limit as to what you can raise right here. I've got funding opportunities. Look, for professional beauty, for beauty professionals. This is how you can apply for a grant through them. I've listed that on the individuals tab. SoGal provides grants to Black women entrepreneurs right here. There it is. It's all right here. I am SoGal, KKR through Hello Alice. I'm not sure if this one is active. 37 Angels. We invest $50,000 to $200,000 in network into each company. Look, now, for these organizations, you have to find out what type of businesses they accept into their program. So for instance, somebody, if they're selling a commodity or whatever the case may be, anything. Let's say you got something such as a new type of pizza. Imagine you come up with the way to develop that pizza, a new machine or an artificially intelligent powered way to develop the machines that develop the pizza, which can be used to manufacture other food or produce other foods rather. Then you may qualify for something like this with the American Seed Fund that invests up to $2 million in funding for your organization that has a technically yet innovative idea, technically risky yet innovative idea. They've been helping entrepreneurs transform their ideas into marketable products and services for over 40 years right here. This is a federal government agency for which you could apply. National Science Foundation. Right here, we give entrepreneurs to build scale, fund their startups, accelerator programs where they provide funding, places for you to be able to develop your idea. Sometimes you have to transform your idea. Once you are looking for funding for an organization, you may have to reposition yourself, because if you are selling a commodity, let's say you're selling coffee and you're selling it in a food truck somewhere. I mean, that's just a commodity. I mean, you could just make money off of it, but it's something that may not qualify for many of these programs. Sometimes you have to be unique. What's unique about that coffee? Perhaps you're taking that coffee from some virgin forest out in the Amazon in Colombia, and no one else has access to that coffee, and you have access to that coffee because you've developed relationships with the tribes that farm that coffee, and a proceeds of the funds goes towards the development of those communities, helping those tribal communities, etc. Now you've got something a little more unique. You have to always put yourself in a position where you are original. How are you disrupting the marketplace so you could qualify for more of these programs? So for instance, for the American Seed Fund, someone asked me that has an organization that they build custom gaming tables. How could they qualify for something in the American Seed Fund? I said, listen, come up with an idea. For these programs, take a look. They tell you straight up, all you need is the idea. Send us your good ideas today. So let's say something that where you come up, let's say, all right, I'm building desks, right? But I have an artificially intelligent powered way in order to develop those desks, to manufacture those desks. And the same way that those machines and the program that you developed manufactured those desks, you can use to go ahead and manufacture dashboards for cars or wood paneling inside a home. And there are various business use cases for your technology. Then you have an opportunity. Then you perform the research to make it all doable, make it all viable. It's not just things that are just pulling out of your rectum, right? So how do you make it viable? Again, you educate yourself. and you go back to the spreadsheet, go to the free education tab. I have access to all kinds of information where you can learn. For instance, if you are not a remote worker, you can become a remote worker by learning how to perform search engine optimization, which is just the practice of you configuring a website so it has the best chance to appear for targeted searches of keywords that identify your business. You can do that for somebody else. You can do it from anywhere on the planet. I worked from home whenever I was overseas performing this work. Matter of fact, I hire people overseas. So anywhere you can perform this type of work and you can learn. Look, they got big SEO for the wiki, the wiki for the big SEO Reddit community where they got all kinds of starter guides. Look, cybersecurity training, all this technological work that you could do from home if you want to be a remote worker. Or you could just learn to be a professional when it comes down to this stuff. Do it for an organization. Listen, when you learn tech, look what I found the other day. Miami-Dade College is offering free training to operate a food truck. Okay, my aunt, she's about to open a food truck out in Miami. I sent that to her. And if you don't live in Miami-Dade, just go ahead and perform a query for wherever it is that you live. You live in Los Angeles County, free training. And Google will give you links to all the information resources and application portals where you can find this stuff. You make a couple of calls, you put the work in to get everything you need to save and feed your families to ultimately save this country. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.